Hey everyone, Nerdy Hillbilly here, on my way to Flower City Con. Stay tuned.
Let me hear you. That's right, like the silver cane holder.
Amazing thing. Does anybody else have questions for Mr. O'Hurley? Yeah, I'm going to start right here and I'm going to work my way back. I see all of your hands.
When you did when you were the guest star for the Drake and Josh episode, like the approach for that, like how did that come about when you were getting like cast for that, and the approach with the whole?
I'm trying to remember. I was playing a doctor. Is that the one where I was playing a doctor? Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, I was a doctor on soap operas. I wasn't. I wasn't a real doctor, was I?
So you were the real doctor. Drake was impersonating.
Oh, that's right. He was impersonating me. Yes. Yeah. You know, I barely remember that. I hate to burst the bubble on it. I might have been on a 13-day Chianti binge. I don't know, but I do remember doing it. But I also did another episode, I think, on Drake and Josh. I think I did. Unsolved Mysteries. I think I did that. It was that episode. I think it was. I did one about a year later as another character. That's why I'm kind of confusing. But I honestly don't remember it all that well. I've done. I think I've guest starred on over 100 shows, and not one is still on the air, by the way. I have a habit of killing them.
I'm gonna come over here, and then I see some hands over there, so I'll be over there in a moment.
What was it like being on Family Feud? Because you were one of my favorite hosts.
Oh, thank you. Well, I had a wonderful time. It was, believe it or not the first game show that I hosted. Years before then, back in shortly after Seinfeld, I hosted a show called To Tell the Truth, which has the game-honored phrase or time-honored phrase, "Will the real so-and-so please stand up?" And it was a wonderful show. And that was truly, I think if I had to look back on anything, that was my favorite show. But then Family Feud came along, and I had a wonderful time doing it. And what I loved about Family Feud was that it trained your instincts to be funny. Because I had no writers, I had nothing else other than the head of my shoulders. And I literally had to walk out on stage every time and say, I'm going to leap and let the net appear. And that's what I did. And I just had to trust that what I had in my head was enough to be funny and to move the game along at the same time and to treat it like a cocktail party, which is kind of what I did. And I had the best time doing it. Now, coincidentally, I did leave the show at one point because I was starting to feel the show was becoming kind of a quiet, dirty joke. And it was a family show, and I was getting some awful fan stuff, and I'm going, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just not, it's becoming too much of a kind of a penis joke. And I said, I don't want to do it. It's not my style. And they were also moving the show down to Universal Studios down there in Orlando. And I said, well, that's where game shows go to die. So we parted ways, and quite happily. And Steve Harvey's got it now, and he's doing a great job with it. So it's in somebody else's hands. But I had a great time. I really had a great time doing it. There was a lot of fun. I will tell you, it gave me a chance to be around people who are otherwise intelligent human beings who, when you turn a camera on, all of a sudden they become absolutely dumb as a box of rocks. I had two guys that looked both like college graduates come up to the face-off there, and I started off by saying, all right, we surveyed 100 people, top 6 answers are on the board. Name a classic film that begins with the letter C. C. And you would say Casablanca, Citizen Kane,
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack was one of them. All of them up there. And the guy looks at me and goes, Seabiscuit.
Oh my God.
You can't make that up. Seabiscuit. Yeah, but fun time. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much, though, for your kind words.
Yes, sir.
What advice would you give for an upcoming actor if they wanted to find work?
Jesus, if you can find it, let me know. The business is so much different than when, it sounds like a cliche to say, but it truly is. I don't recognize the business that I'm in anymore. And that's because it's become so fragmented and so marginalized into these tiny little mini things that no longer represent the structure that we used to have. We had 3 networks, we had movies that you did, and then in some cases they would go to this thing called home box office, which was not a box office at all. It had been prepaid. And so that was like the new innovation when I was starting off in the business. And there was, Broadway had its Broadway shows, and there was dinner theaters, and there were touring companies, and were established vehicles for an actor, definitive things. Today, not so much. Today, you can take your camera and you can shoot a movie. And you can cast everybody in this room if you wanted to, and by the time you finished in an hour and a half, you'd have your own movie. And you can download that now, and you send it over to a place called YouTube, and people will watch it. And if enough people watch it, you can then sell sponsorships to it, or people will pay for the ad time. It's a whole other world for actors right now. So my my answer to them when they say, how do we get work? My answer is, how do you create work for yourself? Because if you want to wait for somebody to give you a call, there's a long line of people ahead of you. So you really have to be your own advocate. And how do I create work for myself? I'll tell you what I do, and I'll give you an example of this. I do a great deal of spokesman work, spokesman for major companies and what have you. I don't wait for my agent at William Morris to call me and say, well, you're now going to be the spokesman for Coors. I go to Coors and I say, I have a really good idea for you. And that's how I end up doing most of my work. And I have to tell you that over the years, I've had a much more successful vehicle by choosing that than I have waiting for the phone to ring. So I would encourage you, a quick answer to your question is create work for yourself and you'll always be employed.
Do you find it that now that you're advocating for yourself, that was there any pushback at that originally? Like a lot of the old school people who talked to me in the past has said, if I didn't go through my agent, I was in trouble. But do you feel that advocating yourself seems to be a lot more easier these days?
I also don't include my agent in it.
See, there you go.
There's no 10% for him because he didn't bring that deal to me.
Skip the middleman.
That's exactly right. I cut him right out and I said, if I am creating the campaign and I'm creating the actor, what do I need you for?
Right. Very good.
Okay, what was it like playing King Neptune on SpongeBob?
Well, that was kind of fun. I have loved the animated career, and I'll tell you why I like it so much. I have a young son, and he's now 14, so I wouldn't call him that young anymore. He's moving into his teenage years, or as I like to refer it, as Mark Twain once said, he knows a multitude of things that are mostly wrong. But that being said, I have enjoyed thoroughly the past 14 years of doing animated shows, these characters like King Neptune, because it gives me a body of work that he can watch. If I'm doing other nighttime TV series, it's just not interesting to them. But because I have 15, 20 cartoons that I do, all the way down, I'm Mr. Slade on the Flintstones, I'm Walter Bunny on Bugs Bunny, Skipper Shelton on Scooby-Doo. A lot of other things besides the more prominent ones like Phineas and Ferb and King Neptune on SpongeBob. But what I love about animation is that it's really on your schedule. They're not sticking to a real clock. So I can be anywhere in the world and still do my work. I was over in England one time and recording a show over the airwave, over the digital media there in the studio, but recording in LA, and that some 14 hours apart. So it's a wonderful world. It's a wonderful world because you can show up and work in your pajamas. But it's also large and big and expansive, and King Neptune with the SpongeBob, that was quite a burger.
All right, so I'm going to show you my haul that I got today. Quick disclaimer, some of the stuff that I did get from Flower City Con, I cannot show you right now because some of it is a surprise for my dear lady Yennefer. So I'm going to just show you the stuff that I got for myself. First off, most of you saw me on Instagram and on Facebook earlier wielding this beautiful thing. That would be my golden spatula that I created myself. I made history today with John O'Hurley. He has never signed a golden spatula, a SpongeBob golden spatula before until today. That is his autograph right there, John O'Hurley, Neptune from SpongeBob. That is badass. Alright, and some of the stuff I am going to be using for a future YouTube video, like these. This is Hellboy hot sauce. Yes, I bought it for the look, but I also bought it so I can do a video for it. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Chicken fingers, chicken wings. Probably do the New York thing and use them for chicken wings. So yeah, I got the Hellboy sauce. And I got the hot sauce from a vendor that does hot sauces with the hot ones. So that was pretty cool. One of my favorite YouTube channels that has to do with food. The hot sauces that they use for their chicken wings on that show are there. So that was pretty bad. I did get some video games. There's a few video games from this one vendor I got. And I was just geeking out on everything. Like, that's what I do when I go to cons. I go to video games, I go to comic books, and I just geek out on everything in sight. Like, I was telling stories about when I used to play video games with my cousin, and we'd get in fights and stuff, and like, there was certain games I would talk about, and then there was other knowledge that I had for other video games, but I am so glad I own this now, and I do have an original Xbox. So that is a old copy, steelbook copy of Halo 2. Look at that beautiful artwork, and all of the stuff with it is in it still, like all the manuals and stuff. And this is in pristine condition. I am definitely excited to be the owner of it. Yes, if I ever do meet Steve Downs, this is one of the items I will consider getting signed by him. I do have an energy sword too that I want to get signed as well, but we'll see how things go. The other game I got from this vendor was Codename Kids Next Door. I was hoping to get it on PlayStation, but I was glad enough that I got it on GameCube. I remember watching that show as a kid. Nothing getting past those kids. Adults were the enemies and stuff, and weird children were the enemies as well. I do have a card for them here. Right here. Game Geeks Video Games. Yeah, they were phenomenal people. They were very knowledgeable. They had all sorts of games, and I would just geek out on everything. There were certain games that I was like, well, I remember when I was young, and I had this game, and let's just say my mom wouldn't let me have it, so when I became an adult, I got that game. But we don't need to go into that. It was just a whole nerd out of every game in sight. There was this other vendor there who sold autographs, and they were authenticated, certified autographs. And I went to the table, and I did recognize a very interesting thing about these COAs. It is from Dave and Adams. Dave and Adams is a very reputable source for autographs. You could get authenticated autographs from up in Buffalo, Dave and Adams. They are the ones that host the Nickel City Comic Cons in May. I am hoping next year I will be attending that con. And what did I get with a certificate of authenticity? A signed hockey puck from one of the greatest goalies in Sabres history. That would be Mr. Ryan Miller. It's Miller time. Oh, what else do we have here? I I mean, of course, it wouldn't be a Comic-Con without comic books. And before I start into this haul video of the comics I got, because I got a ton of them. If anyone is interested, Empire Comic Fest 2 welcomes comic legend Jim Shooter from Marvel. Very well known, very cool guy. November 13th, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There is a website. I will put the website in the bottom of this video. It's free admission. Thousands of gold, silver, bronze, and modern comics for sale. Trusted and experienced vendors. CGC and CBCS graded books too. On-site comic book pressing submissions. Early bird admission option with $20 donation to the Heroes Initiative. Very good cause. This is the event that, comic book people like myself love. Like, most people that go to Comic-Cons, they're very eager to meet the celebrities. They're very eager to meet the people that bring the friggin' celebrity vehicles and stuff, and the photo op stuff, which those are cool. They are cool. Not gonna badmouth those kinds of people, because without them, cons would just be But this event is definitely traditional on the Comic Con sense, because if it wasn't for the comic books, we wouldn't be having this conversation or this video right now. My good buddy Ken Wheaton brought this to my attention. I am starting a campaign for comic book awareness. It's where we need to go back to our roots and enjoy comic books. I was all thinking this in my head on the spot today. That we should definitely think about the reason why we're here, which is comic books. And now that I got that out of the way, I am going to start with the comic books that I have bought. Most of y'all know I am the biggest fan of The Mask. Dark Horse Company comics, they make a wonderful lineup of comics, especially my favorite story of all time, which is The Mask. A lot of people think of The Mask and they think of Jim Carrey's The Mask and Jamie Kennedy won the Son of the Mask. We don't talk about that. But I stopped at this one comic book vendor spot who had a lot of The Mask comics. So like right here, we have comic book 4 of 5, The Mask Strikes Back. I am missing the other 3 comics, but I will try to finish that series as well as I can. Here is 5 of 5, The Mask Strikes Back. Here we got The Mask Toys in the Attic. Here we have, this one has a free mask inside. This one's called The Mask Returns. A lot of people don't know that, the people that just watch the movie and they're like, oh, The Mask, he's so awesome and kind. Actually, The Mask is a homicidal maniac. Kind of like an anti-hero, kind of like Deadpool. He makes the killing funny. So, like, a lot of people are like, oh, are they all bouncy and funny like Jim Carrey? Yeah, does that look like a happy, bouncy Jim Carrey with a well, that's not even a tomahawk. That's a friggin' battle axe. He is ready to go to war. Yeah. Here we are. Here we got another The Mask comic. Kind of reminds me of the... I wonder if this is part of... I don't think so. I think this is just The Mask 3 of 4. I don't know if this is part of the movie adaptation, because that is the right color scheme for the clothes, and it's surrounded by bikers. So, and it being 3 of 4, it wouldn't surprise me, but it being that late in the movie, probably not. That late in the comic series, probably not the adaptation, because I do own the adaptation of The Mask on comic, and it is really good. Dark Horse does a great job. Their comic book artists are amazing when it comes to this. Here is The Mask, probably that same series back there. This is 2 of 4. Another good Mask comic. So those are my Mask comics that I got. Here we have 2 of 4 of the Jurassic Park comic. I am super happy to own this because I am really into Jurassic Park. I love the movie. And I really cannot wait to read this. I don't even know that much about comics as it is, but when it comes to when I see a comic that catches my eye like this, it makes me want to collect it, makes me want to read it. And that's how comic book nerds like myself become enthused to read. Okay, let's see here. I'm sorry I don't have a name for that one, but they were really nice to me. They treated me like gold. Okay, so there was this one this one vendor who are this comic book creator team duo that was at the con. They were really nice to me. They made me laugh at first. I wasn't thinking about buying anything from them at first, but then I changed a heart, because when I came back, I kind of made a funny ass comment, because their opening line was, what are you reading? Without a beat, I said Playboy. Yeah. And I said it pretty loud, so that was pretty funny. Everyone was laughing their asses off. But shout out to the Darby Pop Publishing. They do have a good lineup of comics. The 2 guys that were there are part of the comic company, but they were part of different comics that they like. My friend DJ Jammin' Joe, he bought one of their comics, and it was Sidekicked. The book Sidekicked is about a bunch of sidekicks of these big superheroes, and they go on strike. And then the supervillains find out about that strike and then try to use the sidekicks against their hero counterparts. So, shout out to the Darby Pop Publishing Company. I am now the proud owner, because I told them, I play Santa Claus during Christmas time for, families that are, not, they don't have a lot of money. So I just show up and, bring a smile, bring magic to their home during the Christmas season. So what did I find? Santa Claus Private Eye. I am excited to read this, not gonna lie. I'm very stoked for this. And I just didn't think that a Christmas comic book would do that to me. Alright, so here is some prints that I had bought, and then I will get into my other stuff that I got. First off, shout out to Steve Messenger Art. Steve Messenger Art does prints of various things. Comic books, horror movies, and you know which one Nerdy went with. Nerdy went with the horror prints. They were having a sale on horror prints. They were telling me about how I was ordering 3. Okay, this is the one part of the movie my dear Yennefer can see one of her gifts. Obviously, for me, I picked Leatherface. I was gonna get Freddy for my girl's daughter, Haley. I was going to get her a Freddy print. Unfortunately, they didn't have it, but they did give me the business card, so I will be looking into it when they do get them. And eventually, I will hook Haley up with a Freddy print. My dear Lady Yennefer, this is for you, hon. This is a beautiful print of ya boy, Jason. And on the inside, there's a print of Michael Myers. I might give that to Brandon. I can't speak right now. Okay, back to the prints. The other prints that I got. This one I got for myself. This one I was excited to get because, like I said before, I am a big Mask fan. This print was made by Joshua Lopez. He was cosplaying as Bob Ross. This is his picture. I do have a card for him somewhere. But huge shout out to Joshua Lopez. A lot of these people that I am talking about right now are getting shout outs because they said at the con that they would check out my channel. They saw my shirt. They're like, oh my God, I love your shirt. And I said, yep, that's my YouTube channel. And then we launched the conversation from there. So they're like, oh my God, thank you. And Joshua Lopez, you are one of them. This is for you, my friend. Thank you for the good deal on the mask print. I love it. It will definitely be going in my mask collection. And here I have a bottle of bubbles from the Monkey's Paw. And if you look into this, you should, because they do have an amazing worker there. Her name is Debbie. She was just full of fun and magical knowledge, and it was so cool to meet someone that's into magic and stuff like that. And thank you for the bubbles, Debbie. It was very kind of you, and I hope everything goes well for you. Okay, so you know it wouldn't be a Comic-Con without getting toys. Obviously, you know I collect pop figures because I am addicted and I have a problem. But, you know, knowing that you have a problem means you're not far gone. I think getting pop figures is healthier than, you know, crystal meth, you know. We got Leatherface here from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. My favorite slasher, my favorite horror film. Then here we got Hannibal Lecter. Look at that. Blood on the mouth, blood on the box. How can you go wrong with that? Look at the beautiful, intricate pieces of this. I just love this pop. So, and here's another pop figure of the horror genre. We have Michael Myers, an original Michael Myers. And I'm excited to be the proud owner of that pop figure. I do have Michael, Leatherface, Freddy. All I am missing now is Ghostface and Jason. And then the slashers will be covered on Pop Figure Collection. Everyone else that's part of horror that I like will be added. Like Hannibal Lecter is one of my favorites from the horror genre. I do have Captain Spaulding up there. I have Pennywise, original and new. I do have Chucky up there. I do plan on getting some other characters. I got Jack Torrance up there in my collection. I also have main like producers and directors of horror films. Like I got Jason Blum. I got Stephen King, who's also an author. He directed Maximum Overdrive. I do have Alfred Hitchcock, which is one of my favorite. He's like the OG producer and director for horror. Kind of like Bram Stoker is the OG of horror writing, which I love his work. I love Dracula. But we're getting off topic here again. Let's see. Oh, I do have some fudge here. They have all sorts of fudge, truffles too, but like they had alcoholic fudge on one side and comic book fudge on the other side. But there was two that stuck out to me, and I will not say what flavor they are until my next video. This is how I am doing it, because this is an ultimate taste test video worthy kind of fudge. Now we are on to the last part of the Comic-Con Haul of 2021, Flower City Con. Let's start off with, most of you know I own a Sega Genesis. And what better way to say, hey, my Sega Genesis needs another game. Home Alone on Sega Genesis. Hell yeah. And I can see it now. My brother Jason is gonna ride his freaking Beast Machine down here and just to play this game. Even though he has it on Nintendo, I can see him coming down here, breaking into my house just to play this game. Here we got for the Nintendo, Back to the Future. Definitely a good find, and it was very cheap. Like, very cheap. Then of course we have a Super Nintendo game that I was looking for a while. My brother had it when we were younger. He gave it to me. I don't know what happened to it, lost in translation kind of deal. I don't know if he took it back or I don't know, but Beavis and Butthead the game for Super Nintendo. I am super stoked about that. I can't wait to start playing it. And that is all the stuff I got for you guys today. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. One last thing before I hop on off here. Here's my little photo op lineup of me at Flower City Con. I didn't expect the pictures to be that small, but they're pretty cool still. Me sporting my nerdy Hillbilly t-shirt. Everyone who I saw at the con today was so kind. It was great to see my friends that I haven't seen in over a year, thanks to COVID. I hope to everything that is holy in this world, that we see some normalcy in 2022. I hope that we can ascend back into Comic-Cons again more than ever. Today was a big day for me. Like, this was what made this is what made me feel like things are going back to normal again. Like, I'm just so happy that Comic-Cons are back. Hopefully they stay back and are here to stay. I'm rambling on again. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Have a great night. Hey, if y'all like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to see any new Nerdy Hillbilly videos. And I will see y'all later. Bye! And don't forget to get your Nerdy Hillbilly merch at Chaos and Class Designs.